Does living in Gypsum, Colorado have any cons? Shoot, what are the pros? In this video, we're gonna lay out the pros and cons of living in Gypsum, Colorado. So if you're thinking about moving to Gypsum, this video is for you. Stay tuned as we prepare. Go ahead, get your notepad out, leave a thumbs up for this video so we can get this content in front of more people just like you that are looking to relocate and or move right here to beautiful Gypsum, Colorado. So my wife Britt came up with this list after talking to some of our friends, family, coworkers, and past clients that have lived in the Vail Valley for upwards of 20 years now, Gypsum in particular. So we're gonna get about 6 pros and cons. So each one is a pro and a con here in this list. So let's jump into number 1, tourism. So of course, the con of tourism is sometimes things just get overcrowded. So if you're local here, you kind of get annoyed. Sometimes tourists don't always appreciate the beauty of the Vail Valley, of Gypsum in particular, that you know a local would have. Sometimes those people bring some overcrowding, they bring some trash with them, etc. But the pro to that is, of course, they bring their hard-earned money into the economy that's local here, which really can give us a boost in that sales tax revenue. Pro and con number 2, holy smokes, is it dry here. Pro, it's amazing for a variety of people with some common ailments such as rheumatoid arthritis, respiratory issues, Crohn's, and other autoimmune diseases. But it can be difficult if you're not prone to drinking enough water daily and perhaps taking precautions from the sun. Just use sunscreen, hats, and of course, reapply. So this con is kind of funny, of course, but with over 500 breweries and distilleries combined across Colorado, paired with the average elevation of 6,800 feet across the western part of the state, hangovers and premature aging can loom. So never underestimate the importance of H2O, especially when mixing your spirits with elevation. All right, we're halfway done with our list here, so we're gonna also talk about trail and slope overcrowding here. The con, of course, with so many seasonal times, we have to share the roads, slopes, and trails with our visitors, which unfortunately can be annoying when those newbies don't know where they are. They stop and stall on the slopes and the trails and can cause some physical accidents as a result. And let's be real, the more visitors from various locales bring their bad habits along with them, often littering and disrespecting Mother Nature. Now let's talk about the pro to that. So of course, with so many visitors coming in for ski season, as a local, what you can do those times of the year, you can just venture off, try out a new trail that you maybe have been wanting or put on your list of things to explore and adventure so that you can avoid those crowds when they inevitably come. Okay, so pro and con number 4 is the pretty unstable and unpredictable weather patterns that we can have here in the mountains. The con, of course, is wildfires. There's been flooding, and of course there's blizzards. In the wintertime are just a few of the unpredictable weather that this state in the valley has to offer. Now the pro that comes with these weather patterns, of course, is when it rains a ton, when it snows a ton, of course you can get out and enjoy the skiing. When it rains a lot in the summertime, that helps extend the rafting season. So if you haven't been rafting, it is by far one of the coolest things you can do. Of course, it's a little dangerous. There is a ton of activity that you can find anywhere in Gypsum to do, whether it's four-wheeling, off-roading, fishing, shooting your gun, hunting. All of that stuff comes with living in the mountains, having unpredictable seasonal weather, and you almost always have to be prepared for anything, which in my opinion is a pro. You never get too comfortable with just venturing out and just saying, oh, it's 80 degrees, I'll be all right. You do have to kind of be mentally prepared for anything, which does help you in other parts of life, of course, with, planning ahead and so on. So here in the Gypsum area, we have a combination of a high mountain range, we have high desert, we have a couple different climate zones. We have the arid plains and the alpine forest up the valley. Coming in at number 5 is the wildlife. So the positives and the negatives of that, the con is that can often create a potential disaster for visitors and people who generally are new to mountain living. Everyone should take advantage of the immense beauty that Mother Nature brings to Colorado, but we also have to respect it and be knowledgeable of our surroundings. Brush up on, your local wildlife before you decide to venture in and become a resident. And what you should do is never try to encounter wildlife up close and personal. Be mindful that we do have elk, bear, and mountain lion here. Now, a total con to that is we do have to do a ton of highway driving, driving at night for a lot of those our residents that might have these big trucks, these ranchers. One of the negative is you do see destroyed animals, destroyed vehicles on the side of the road. Pretty much once or twice a week I've seen them that it's unavoidable. Sometimes these elk, they just run right out in front of the street, but be mindful. That is a definite con. Now, the positive to seeing this wildlife is, I walk the dogs each and every day right down the path here by the house, about 200 yards away. We have a creek that runs through the neighborhood, and there are literally deer and elk. Well, deer, pretty much all fall long, and then once the snow starts to come down from the mountains, the elk are right over here, which is pretty cool. So that's a definite positive. You see all sorts of eagles and raptor type of birds. It's really neat to, just to be able to go right outside your back door and see up close and personal wildlife that if you lived in Denver, if you lived in Chicago, for instance, or let's say Dallas, whatever, you just wouldn't have the opportunity to see such things. Here is another quick pro tip for you. The aerial views across the Eagle Valley might shock you. You can see mountain lions galore. So if you spend enough time enjoying the outdoors here, there's a very solid chance that a mountain lion has seen you closer than you might think. And as we round out the pros and cons list here, we're talking about cars versus trucks. So the con for sure is if you are a car person, you better have four-wheel drive or all-wheel drive or something like that, right? When we first moved here, we had a Honda Accord, and the first year in the winter, we basically had to put on our chains and cables 3 different times. It is not a pleasure when you're putting your cables on the side of the road and other vehicles are sliding off the road because of the immense snow piles that are building up, just the terrible weather conditions on the road. So if you have a car, the con of it is you're gonna have to get cables, you're gonna have to brave the elements, get underneath your vehicle and put them bad boys on in the wintertime. The con of having a truck, of course, is holy crap, is gas expensive, right? So if you have a truck like me, my truck's like 12 years old at this point in time. I'm getting like 14 miles a gallon on a good day. So that's a definite con. Coupled with the positive, obviously, of a vehicle like a truck, you can throw your skis, you can throw all your camping gear in there. So that's a positive. And then, of course, the positive of having a vehicle like a car in the summertime is to rip around some of these mountain passes in a vehicle that can, kind of zip around. So if you're one of those people that has like a Porsche or something in the driveway, or in the garage, keep that, of course, for some summertime driving. It would be an absolute pleasure to rip around these mountain passes in a vehicle like that in the summertime. All right. The time is now. Go ahead and subscribe to the channel, hit the thumbs up button, and leave a comment. Share this video as well. When you're ready to get your mortgage financing squared away and or moving and relocating right here to the beautiful Denver, Colorado area, we've got your back. Go ahead, shoot us a call, text, even that email, however you want to get a hold of us. Again, we have your back. In addition to that, go ahead, watch one of these other videos right now, snoop around the channel, and we'll see you again when we drop that next one. Take care.